For weeks on end, we have watched with bated breath as Willow plays this incredibly dangerous, high stakes game of chess alongside Jack. We have been led to believe that she has every single moving piece under her complete, absolute control. She has meticulously manipulated the public narrative, hidden dangerous fugitives like Jens, and kept her darkest, most unforgivable secrets buried far away from the prying eyes of the police and the people who used to trust her. But something isn't adding up anymore. The walls are slowly but surely closing in on her perfectly constructed empire of lies, and the ultimate catalyst for her spectacular destruction might just be the one person she confidently thought she had permanently silenced, Drew. We are looking at a highly volatile situation where the confident hunter is about to become the desperate hunted, and the ensuing fallout will be absolutely catastrophic for everyone involved in this sinister, deeply rooted cover up. Let us look at the most critical piece of this puzzle, the exact moment where the timeline fractures. The specific detail that changes the entire trajectory of this storyline is the exact moment Drew finally manages to push past his severe physical limitations. We all know that Drew has been trapped in a living nightmare, confined to a sterile hospital bed, his body failing him while his sharp mind screams for justice and retribution. Kai has been a secret weapon during this dark time, a fiercely loyal ally helping him quietly regain his physical strength behind closed, locked doors. Now, close your eyes and imagine this intensely emotional scenario. Kai is physically supporting Drew, his muscles straining as he helps the recovering man take his very first agonizing, shaky steps out of that hospital bed. The triumph in that quiet room is palpable. It is a moment of pure victory. But then, without warning, the heavy door swings open. Willow and Jack walk into the room, expertly masking their true malicious intentions under the thin, fragile guise of a friendly, concerned wellness check. It may not be a coincidence that they chose this exact vulnerable moment to visit. If you ask me, they absolutely did not come to offer warm well wishes or to genuinely check on his medical recovery. They came with a dark purpose, to assess the immediate threat level. They needed to see with their own eyes if Drew was still a helpless, paralyzed pawn, or if he was finally waking up to destroy the empire they have built on his suffering. That's where things become interesting, incredibly dark, and highly dangerous. The sheer, unadulterated terror that must wash over Willow's face when she sees Drew standing on his own 2 feet, bearing his own weight, would be impossible for her to hide. The horrifying realization hits her like a runaway freight train. Her borrowed time is officially up. If Drew fully regains his mobility and his powerful voice, every single crime she has committed, every lie she has spun to her family, and every ounce of poison she has orchestrated will be violently exposed to the world. She and Jack know instantly, without needing to exchange a single word, that they cannot allow Drew to leave that hospital room as a free man. This could explain a lot about the sudden, terrifying shift in Jack's demeanor. Jack is a ruthless, highly trained operative who has survived by eliminating threats. When backed into a corner, he does not hesitate, and he does not show mercy. I can easily, vividly see Jack smoothly pulling a gun right there in the sterile hospital room, the cold steel of the weapon gleaming under the harsh fluorescent lights. Kai, who is just a brave young man trying to help a recovering patient, suddenly finds himself staring directly down the dark barrel of a lethal weapon. The atmosphere in the room would instantly drop to freezing. Jack would make it abundantly, terrifyingly clear. One single word, one wrong move, one attempt to call for help, and both Kai and Drew will lose their lives right there on the linoleum floor. But they cannot just pull the trigger and shoot them in a crowded, heavily staffed hospital. That is far too messy, far too loud, and leaves far too much evidence, even for a seasoned professional like Jack. So, what is the next logical, horrifying step for this villainous duo? They have to make Drew and Kai vanish into thin air without leaving a single trace behind. The bigger question is, how exactly do you smuggle a recovering patient and a healthy, terrified young man out of a heavily monitored medical building? With Jack's vast, shadowy resources and Willow's desperate, calculating cunning, they managed to bypass the security cameras, forcing a heavily sedated Drew and a gunpoint threatened Kai into a secure, unmarked vehicle waiting in the dark underground parking garage. They transport their new hostages to a hidden, soundproof basement located far off the grid, a dark, damp, terrifying captivity where the walls are thick and no one can hear them scream for help. Drew, a man who has already suffered so much unimaginable trauma, brainwashing, and captivity in his tragic past, is once again chained to a cold wall in the pitch black, entirely at the mercy of the woman who used to play the sweet, innocent, caring figure in his life. Willow's descent into pure, irredeemable villainy is fully complete in this harrowing moment. She is no longer just protecting her secrets out of fear. She is actively, maliciously destroying lives to maintain her fake facade of perfection. When two prominent people suddenly disappear from the face of the earth, the shockwaves are immediate and severe. And the very first person to sense that something is horribly, fundamentally wrong will undoubtedly be Trina. Trina has incredible, razor-sharp instincts, and she has been desperately trying to keep her distance from the endless, exhausting drama surrounding her parents. But Kai is her trusted friend, her musical partner, and someone she deeply cares about. More importantly, Kai previously confided in Trina, whispering the massive, dangerous secret that Drew was slowly recovering and would soon be free from his physical prison. When Kai suddenly stops answering his phone, misses their rehearsals, and Drew's hospital bed is discovered completely empty with no discharge papers, Trina's internal alarm bells will ring at maximum volume. She will immediately connect the dots in her brilliant mind. She knows Willow has been constantly hovering around Drew, acting suspiciously, and controlling his visitor list. Trina will instantly suspect that Willow is the evil mastermind behind this sudden double disappearance. But she will face a massive, frustrating roadblock. She has absolutely zero direct physical evidence. She only has her powerful gut feeling and the whispered secrets Kai shared with her before he vanished into the night. Driven by her fierce loyalty and unwavering moral compass, Trina will have no choice but to go straight to the police station, desperately begging the detectives to launch a full-scale investigation into Willow's recent activities. But there may be more to the story regarding how Willow expertly handles the mounting pressure of a police inquiry. Willow is no longer a panicked, stumbling amateur. She has Jack, a master of deception, guiding her every single move. When the police inevitably come knocking on her door, flashing their badges and asking tough questions, Willow will be more than ready. She and Jack will have meticulously crafted an airtight, flawless alibi. They will spin a tragic, highly believable narrative for the authorities, perhaps convincingly claiming that Drew suffered a severe mental break due to his trauma and forced Kai, at gunpoint, to help him flee the medical facility to avoid further treatment. With Jack's unparalleled ability to forge medical documents, hack into hospital databases, and permanently delete security footage, the police investigation will quickly hit a massive, impenetrable brick wall. Willow will perfectly play the role of the deeply concerned, heartbroken family member, shedding fake, glistening tears for the detectives, while secretly knowing that Drew and Kai are currently rotting in a cold, dark basement. For a fleeting moment, it will look like Willow has won yet again, successfully throwing the authorities off her scent and securing her freedom. However, every perfect crime has a fatal flaw, a loose thread waiting to be pulled. And in this grand theory, that fatal flaw is someone Willow completely arrogantly underestimates: Scout. Scout is older now, highly observant, deeply intuitive, and fiercely, fiercely protective of her father. She knows in her heart that her dad would never just abandon her again, not after everything they have fought through to be together. Scout will start noticing the subtle, sinister changes in Willow's daily behavior. The whispered, tense phone calls with Jack in the hallway, the mysterious trips out of the house at odd, late hours, the nervous, frantic energy Willow tries desperately to hide behind a fake smile. Scout will realize that the adults are lying to her, and she will decide to take matters into her own capable hands. I strongly suspect Scout will embark on a dangerous stealth mission, secretly following Willow or Jack, tracking their vehicle through the winding, desolate roads on the outskirts of town until they reach a heavily guarded, abandoned property hiding the secret basement. Imagine the absolute shock, the pure, unadulterated horror, when this brave young girl creeps through the overgrown weeds, peers through a dirty, cracked basement window, and sees her beloved father and Kai tied up, bruised, and held hostage by the woman she thought was a trusted family figure. The tears streaming down Scout's face will quickly turn into fierce, burning determination. Scout knows she cannot confront Willow and Jack directly. They are adults. They are incredibly dangerous, and Jack is heavily armed. But Scout is incredibly smart and patient. She will wait in the shadows for the perfect fleeting moment, biding her time until Willow and Jack finally leave the premises to maintain their public alibis intact. Once the coast is entirely clear, Scout will bravely break into that dark basement. The emotional, silent reunion between a battered, exhausted Drew and his incredibly brave daughter will be a tearjerker of epic cinematic proportions. With trembling hands, Scout will manage to untie the heavy ropes, helping a weakened Drew and a terrified Kai escape their dark, suffocating prison. But they won't just run to the local police station to file a standard report. No, the timing of their miraculous escape will align perfectly, almost poetically, with the most explosive public event currently happening in town, setting the grand stage for the ultimate public confrontation. This brings us to the breathtaking climax of the theory. All of this intense chaos is happening exactly as Jens goes on trial for his extensive, horrific list of crimes. The courtroom will be packed to the brim with reporters, citizens, and the judge presiding over the highly publicized case. Willow will be sitting right there in the gallery, dressed in her finest, most elegant clothes, portraying the perfect image of a pillar of the community. She will sit there with a smug sense of security, believing her darkest secrets are safe, that Drew is locked away forever, and that Jens will quietly, obediently take the fall for everything they orchestrated together. But Jens is a dangerous wild card who refuses to be caged alone. Realizing he has absolutely nothing left to lose and refusing to go down while Willow walks free, Jens will suddenly go completely off script on the witness stand. The heavy courtroom doors are locked from the inside of the narrative as he takes a deep breath. He will look directly, piercingly at Willow and begin aggressively exposing every single detail of their dark, twisted alliance. He will loudly confess to the massive money laundering schemes, the harboring of dangerous fugitives, and the sinister, violent plots orchestrated by Jack on Willow's behalf. The courtroom will erupt into absolute, uncontrollable chaos as the judge frantically slams the gavel and Willow's face violently drains of all color. She will stand up, trying to deny it, desperately playing the victim one last pathetic time, screaming that Jens is a lying criminal. And right at that exact heart-stopping, cinematic moment, the heavy wooden doors at the back of the courtroom will burst open with a loud bang. The entire gallery, the judge, the jury, and a hyperventilating Willow will turn in stunned, breathless silence. Walking slowly but proudly down the center aisle, physically supported by a resilient Kai and heavily leaning on his incredibly brave daughter, Scout, will be Drew. The collective, echoing gasp in the massive room will be absolutely deafening. It is the ultimate, undeniable mic drop moment. 3 separate, devastating testimonies are about to violently collide to destroy Willow's life permanently and completely. Jens is already spilling the complex financial and criminal secrets on the record. Drew will slowly take the stand, looking his abuser in the eye, to legally confirm that Willow orchestrated his cruel poisoning, his terrifying paralysis, and his brutal kidnapping. And Kai will provide the final, inescapable nail in the coffin, testifying under oath about the horrifying moment Jack pulled a loaded gun on them in the hospital, and how Willow coldly, heartlessly locked them in a freezing basement to die. The sheer overwhelming weight of these 3 independent, perfectly corroborating testimonies will create an undeniable, airtight, bulletproof case against Willow and Jack. We may be looking at the beginning of something huge, guys. The long, frustrating era of Willow's manipulation is coming to a violent, spectacular, and deeply satisfying end. When those 3 powerful testimonies align in open court, there will be no more legal loopholes, no more forged hospital evidence, and absolutely no more charming her way out of handcuffs. The police officers present in the courtroom will have absolutely no choice but to march forward and arrest Willow right there in the middle of the aisle, loudly reading her Miranda rights and stripping away her fake innocence in front of the entire shocked town. Jack will also find himself completely cornered by federal agents, his vast, shadowy network of spies entirely unable to save him from the undeniable, glaring truth. Someone may not be ready for what's coming next, and that someone is Willow. She arrogantly thought she was the smartest, most untouchable person in the room, but she foolishly forgot that the truth always, eventually, fights its way into the blinding light. The truth could be closer than anyone realizes, and when it finally hits Port Charles, it is going to shatter the town's foundation forever. Let me know in the comments below if you think Scout will be the ultimate, undeniable hero in this dark saga, and if you are ready to finally see Willow pay for her crimes.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.